Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we are going to be doing a lemon and blue spring acrylic nail design, so I really hope you all enjoy watching. Now I have already applied my tips and a thin clear base, and I thought I'd quickly show you guys some of the acrylics that we're going to be using today. So I'm going to be using lemon and baby blue from Glitterama. They now are called EL Nail Supplies, and then I'm also going to be using cover pink from Young Nails. My clear acrylic is Clarity from Diamond Nail Supplies, and the glitters I have on my desk are from Charlie's Nail Art. I will try and remember what they're called as we go through the video. But on to today's design, I really wanted to do a lemon and blue acrylic set, and I was looking through my acrylics trying to find a yellow that kind of matched what I had in mind, and I come across this lemon from Glitterama. Now Glitterama have rebranded quite a while ago. I haven't used these particular acrylic colors in ages, so they are now called EL Nail Supplies. I'm not quite sure if anything changed with the actual product, but I will leave a link to their website in the description box below, because I did absolutely love the Glitterama acrylic powders. Back when I very first started working with coloured acrylics, they were one of the first brands that I started using, and they are really lovely to work with. I just happened to have not used them in a while, so it was really nice to grab them out of my collection and create a set with them. So I come in with the lemon down at the cuticle area, and I picked this bead up a little bit too big. I wanted to only go in on this nail kind of like with a wash of the two colours to create an ombre that's kind of going to be a base for our glitters, so you're not going to see too much of this ombre anyway. But I went in, applied my lemon, blended it down towards the tip of the nail, and then come in with baby blue at the tip and then blended that back. I wasn't too fussed on creating like a perfect ombre because we're going to be coming across that blend with our glitters. So first of all, this gorgeous matte blue hexagon mix is from Charlie's Nail Art. I believe this one is just called a matte baby blue, and then I'm going to layer over the top of this some yellow mylar flakes. These are also from Charlie's Nail Art. I do have a discount code for Charlie's, so I'll leave that in the description box below, as that is predominantly where I'd say like 80 to 90% of my glitters that I use in acrylic sets are from. I absolutely love the range they have available, and they are so reasonably priced as well. So like I said, over the top of that matte blue, we're going to layer on some of these mylar flakes. I really love these because they're so easy to use. I used to get like angel paper and you could cut out the shards and use those, but this way is definitely so much easier. So I just picked up some, placed them down on my paper towel so that I could pick out some smaller and larger pieces, and I really loved how pretty they looked layered over that matte blue glitter. Then the next glitter is one of my absolute favorites. This is Wizard's Wonderland, also from Charlie's, and this is one of my go-to iridescent mixes. It is just a mix of some of the most beautiful shapes. There's some hearts in here, there's butterflies, moons, stars, and then there's some larger circular shapes as well. So it's a really fun mix, and a lot of the time I will just pop some down on my paper towel and then pick out what I want to use. For example, in this set I was trying to pick out a lot of the butterflies and the stars. So we're going to leave that now to set, and we will come in and encapsulate further along in the video. So on to the middle finger, I'm coming in with a bead of Young Nails Cover Pink. I haven't used this pink in ages, and I have to say it is such a beautiful consistency, so easy to work with. It was a little bit on the sheer side, so I did come in with another bead. And I did really quickly want to mention, if it looks as though my acrylic clear base has crystallized on the nail bed area, I think this is because I put down a peel off base coat under this set of nails, because I was just doing this for some acrylic practice and to do a video, so I wanted to be able to easily take these straight off. So I prepped my nails and applied a clear peel off base coat, and I don't know, for some reason my acrylic just didn't like going over that. So you can see just on the nail bed area it has crystallized, which isn't ideal, but obviously because I'm going to be taking these off, it didn't stress me out too much. I just cracked on with the set. But I thought I would mention that in case you wondered why it does look a little bit strange on that nail bed area. So when I was coming in with the cover pink from Young Nails, I needed to make sure it covered that up, so I did just come in with another bead, and I've built up the apex area with the cover pink as well anyway, because it's a strength powder, it doesn't need to be encapsulated. And then I wanted to leave the tip of this nail kind of like a glass tip, so I didn't take that cover pink all the way down to the tip. I wiped some of it off so I could keep that tip as clear as possible, so that you can kind of get that glass effect coming through with the glitters. I think this works really well when you are using iridescent and kind of like pieces like these mylar flakes. It just looks really nice against a clear background. And then again, I'm doing the same as before, so we're going to layer up those 3 glitters, and then on this one I come in with some of those gold butterflies as well. Off the top of my head, I think these are from Glitter Stella, but I'll see if I can link to their website in the description box below. I try to link any products that I do use in the description box below, but if I forget any and you are wondering where they're from, just pop me a comment and I'll be happy to help. So here I'm kind of just picking up individual pieces of glitter and placing them where I want them to go, trying to get a nice even coverage of glitter across that tip of the nail without it ending up too bulky, because you don't want your tip to be too bulky. And then I just went in, I think, with 3 or 4 of these gold butterflies and placed them down. And I usually just pop down a little wash of clear acrylic so I can place them down and they'll set in place, and then this way they won't move around when it comes to encapsulating. Now originally for the ring finger, I was going to go in and do the same as what I did on the pointer finger, but kind of reverse it. So we would have the baby blue at the cuticle area and then the lemon at the tip of the nail. But then as I was going on doing this ombre, I kind of liked how it just looked as the blue and yellow ombre, so I don't end up coming in with any glitters over the top. But ideally, if I'd have known I was gonna leave this as an ombre, I wouldn't have worked with such small beads on this first layer. It was kind of at this point here I was like, you know what, I like this just as a simple ombre, so I'm not going to add any glitters. But then because I'd worked with it quite thin, the colors just didn't blend as nicely as I wanted to, so I ended up coming in with a couple of smaller beads and just building up the color until I was happy with how the ombre looked. The consistency of the Glitterama acrylic powders are really nice. They go quite creamy, so they're really nice to blend together. And I do want to head on over to the website and try some of their range since it has rebranded, because I know it was quite a while ago, but I haven't done any acrylic shopping in, I would say, a good maybe nearly 2 years, because it just got to a point where my acrylic collection was huge and I don't work on clients, so I wasn't using it all, and then I don't like to be wasteful, so I kind of just put myself on a little bit of a spending ban when it comes to nails until I'd used up some of my collection. And that's slowly what I've been going through. I really want to try and get more acrylic videos up on my channel, but they do take a little bit longer to record and do, and when work and kids and life just gets in the way of having fun sometimes. But I really enjoyed doing this set of nails. I think I really enjoy every acrylic set because I don't do them too often. But yeah, these were really nice to do and I loved how they looked. I thought they'd be super cute for a spring set, so I hope you guys think the same. But then we had finished off our ombre, so we're going to move on to the little finger. Now I come in again with the cover pink down at the cuticle area, and I'm just going to blend this down and do a marble ombre on the tip of the nail, and then I'm going to come in with some glitters. So I'm just placing a small bead down at that cuticle area and then blending it down. Again, I'm going to layer this up in 2 beads just to get a bit more of opacity from the cover pink, just because I wanted to make sure that I covered up that nail bed area. And then same as well anyway on the middle finger, I'm building up my structure with this color, and then I can just encapsulate from the fade area down, so I won't need to take my encapsulation layer all the way up to the cuticle. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up small wet beads of my colored acrylics. I go in with the baby blue, the lemon and clear, and then I was going to marble these together. And then what happened was this fly just flew in, as you see, and got so close to my acrylic. It really put me off and messed up my marble. I was so gutted because it kind of made me jump, and then I was like, and then it come back around and I was like, oh my god, what are you doing? And yeah, so the marble did not go to plan. It just by the time I come back to play around with the acrylics, they had already started setting, as it's quite warm at the moment in the UK, and acrylic does set quicker when the weather is warmer. So this definitely wasn't the best marble, but the colours had swooshed together a little bit, and I'm going to be coming in with some glitter anyway. So we're coming in, same as before, I'm going to layer up those glitters, trying to keep it nice and thin because I didn't want to end up with a too bulky nail, and obviously I had already built up quite a bit of the apex area with the cover pink. So I just come in with a small splash of the matte blue and then a few little mylar pieces over the top, and then I do think I still come in with a couple of iridescent pieces. Now I then move on to encapsulating. I do think I only show encapsulating 2 of the nails because I didn't want the video to be super repetitive or too long, but I do also come in and show some filing as well. So I leave in filing of 2 of the nails as well. If there are any particular things you would like to see in a video, do let me know. I really wanted to do some more acrylic sets. I really loved the previous acrylic set that I'd done on my channel, so I'll leave that in the description box below in case you guys want to check that out. But moving on to encapsulation, I always like to wipe over the nail with a little bit of monomer when I have done a chunky glitter set. And this way I just feel as though the clear acrylic flows over those chunky glitter pieces a lot easier. I then come in with a medium bead, placed it down roughly halfway to 3/4 of the way down the nail, and then I'm just gently patting, pressing and pulling this down to the tip of the nail so that we fully encapsulate all of our glitters and build up our strength and structure for the nail. With my second bead, I'm coming in, placing this down at the cuticle area, pulling it down gently but leaving the bulk of that product in that back third to build up our apex area. This now did end up a little bit more chunky than I wanted it to be. One of the things that I really need to practice on when it comes to acrylic is getting that neater, flusher cuticle area. But like I said, when I started my YouTube channel, acrylic nails was predominantly what I always did, and I felt as though I got to a point where I was really happy with how they would turn out, and then I just didn't do any acrylic for around a year and slowly kind of lost all those little tips and techniques and things like that, and it's been a little bit hard to pick them back up, to be honest. But acrylic is one of my favorite systems to work with. I really loved how this set turns out though, I have to say. I thought it looked really pretty. It's a very old school me set of nails. Like, I used to love all of the colored acrylics, ombres, lots of glitter, so they was really fun to do. So coming in again on this now, and I'm doing that same way of encapsulating. So washed over the nail, and then I've picked up my first bead of acrylic. On this one, like I said, I didn't necessarily need to encapsulate to build up a apex area because we had done that with our core color. So I only go over with a thin layer of clear down at that cuticle and apex area. I was kind of trying to show you guys from the side here. You want that apex area to be built up in the back third, and then it kind of taper off nice and thin as we get down towards the tip of the nail. My application was a little bit bulky, but I did fix up majority of it with a file. Now, one thing I did want to mention is, like I said, I had a peel off base coat underneath when I applied these because I was just doing them for some practice and for content. So when it comes to filing, I always am a little bit worried that the peel off base coat is going to give out and the nail is going to ping off. So I didn't do any filing with my e-file. I did it all with a hand file. So of course I did finish off encapsulating the rest of the nails and allowed them to fully set. And then I'm going to use my 100 grit file from Kiki London. If I'm ever having to do a removal or any kind of filing like an acrylic set, I'll go for this file because I find it really debulks nice and quickly. So it's great if you're not e-file trained, or if you're just not using your e-file today like I was. It really speeds up the filing process because it's a really nice grit file. It's quite a coarse grit file, but I feel as though just the shaping of everything of this file is just one of my go-tos for when it comes to debulking acrylic. So that's exactly what I'm doing at the moment. I'm kind of debulking from the sides, getting off any acrylic that was like gone underneath. These tips I'm using are quite flat, so they don't have much of a C curve to them, so it kind of, when you're able to get underneath basically and file that way, they're not the best tips, but they're great for practicing on. So then I'm just coming in. I like to go in first of all and kind of create my shape. So obviously obviously the shape is created on the tips, but then when you go in, sometimes you'll lose some of that shape with your acrylic. So I go back in first of all with my file and bring that shape back, and then I'll start debulking. So I usually try and stick to the same routine of going up one side of the nail, around the cuticle area, and then down the other side, and then go overall the whole entire nail just to make sure everything's nice and smooth. And then I like to flat file at the tip of the nail to make sure that we've got that nice sharp crisp free edge. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the next nail. So coming in at the sidewalls, bringing that shape back and removing any excess acrylic that's kind of ruined your shape or made it look a little bit not as crisp as what it was before. And then once I've kind of got that shape back, I'm going to then go in and debulk. Like I said, these tips, they are the tips, you know, like the long stiletto, I can't think off my top of my head what they're called, but the long stiletto tips, and you can kind of cut them. If you keep them long and cut the tips off, they're like a coffin shape, and the shorter you make them, they kind of go into a tapered square or square shape. So I'd cut a small amount of the length off, which made them more of a tapered square, but for some reason the size that fitted my ring finger looked more square than the other 3 nails, so I had to do a lot more filing on that to get that kind of tapered square look to them. So I wasn't 100% happy with the overall shape of them, but I really loved the design on these. But I'm just coming in and doing my best to debulk the sidewalls. You want to make sure that you're not over filing on your apex area. I like to go around and file the cuticle area to try and get that nice and flush, especially if my cuticle application hasn't been as neat as what it could be. And then I went off camera and finished off filing the other 2 nails. This is kind of where you can see that ring fingernail looks a lot more square than the other 3 nails. But once I had finished filing, I then took one of these little buffing blocks. I picked these up on Amazon, I think a pack of 50, and I love them for buffing acrylic. They're just really easy to use. So I'm just going over and buffing all of the nails. This is going to get rid of any of those harsher, deeper scratches that are left behind from your file, and it just gives you a really nice base to come in and apply your top coat on. So I'm going to make sure to do this on all of the nails. And then it is really important that once you have finished buffing the nails, you come in and give them a really good clean to remove all of that dust that's left behind from filing and buffing. So what I like to normally do is give my hands a wash with, just like wash them with some hand wash. But today I was a little bit lazy. I just went in and sprayed my dust brush with some alcohol and just gave them a really good scrub with that. But you just want to make sure that you've got rid of all that dust, because otherwise it's going to come in and ruin your top coat. So here I am just giving them a good clean with my dust brush and some alcohol, making sure to get underneath and giving them that really good clean. They look really matte, and then this is what I love. You're going to come in with your top coat and bring them back to life and bring all the magic and sparkles back to the glitter. So for my top coat today, I'm using the Kiki London Crystal top coat. I do have a discount code for Kiki, which gets you 10% off, so I'll leave that in the description box below. This is a really nice gel top coat, and I love this over whatever I'm doing, whether it be a basic gel polish set of nails, a builder gel set, but it's really nice over acrylic as well. It is got a slightly thicker consistency to their regular no wipe top coat, but it has an amazing high shine to it, and as you can see, it just really brings all the sparkle and color back to this acrylic set. It does require a 60-second cure in an LED lamp, so I popped that in to cure for 60 seconds, and then I'm going to finish off with a little bit of cuticle oil, as my cuticles did take a bit of a battering when I was filing today. So I'm just going to pop on the Coconut Escape cuticle oil as well, which is from Kiki London. I really struggled doing this voiceover today. I think I've been interrupted about 5-6 times, and it has really killed my flow, so I do apologize for that. But I'm just gonna rub this in to all of the cuticles, and here we have a super cute lemon and blue spring set of nails. I really hope you all enjoyed watching. If you did, please do give the video a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and hopefully I shall see you all again in the next one. I hope you're all doing amazing. Let me know how you guys are in the comments below. It's always really nice to check in with you all, especially where I don't upload as regular as what I used to, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of that. But yeah, once again, thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love, take care, bye bye.